I got a chance to play with the DEWALT 6.5-inch track saw, the new FLEXVOLT DCS520. And the first question you might ask is, what is the difference between the new FLEXVOLT track saw and the 12-year-old DEWALT DWS520 track saw? That answer is simple. One is cordless and one is not. Everything else is exactly the same. So you might remember that DEWALT tried a cordless track saw. They did a 28-volt track saw and it did not fare well. So this time around they figured, well, let's try this cordless track saw again, but let's improve it and use the FLEXVOLT technology. So this FLEXVOLT track saw, it's a 6.5-inch blade. It has a robust feel. It's got a thick magnesium base. It's sturdy. There are easy to adjust tilt controls and super comfortable rubberized grip. So it's a very comfortable tool to use. It comes with a T-stack molded styrofoam, a case with molded styrofoam, so everything kind of indexes and fits into the case. And I liked that the T-stack also had room for an extra blade and some clamps and some things like that. The new FLEXVOLT table saw has a brushless motor, and as you might have guessed, it is exactly the same motor as the FLEXVOLT circular saw. That's the DCS575 model. This new FLEXVOLT track saw has an on-track cut depth of 2 1/8 inch depth at 90 and 1 5/8 inch at 45. And there is a pointer, a plastic knob pointer for depth of cut with an imperial scale, which is nice. The saw bevels from 0 to 47 degrees. No positive stop at 45, unfortunately. The bevel knob locks are located front and rear of the blade housing, and that allowed for a really secure, solid lock. So you lock that saw in, it just kept its bevel. DEWALT's dual edge track allows for cutting on either side of the track. I like that. This saw will also work on a Festool track. I tested it, it absolutely works. In my opinion, having the two tracks side by side, Festool makes a better track. It's more rigid. So I would go with the Festool track if you're going to use this saw. There is a track adjustment feature on the saw, and it allows the track to be adjusted like all track saws. You can get it tight and get it to slide nice. One complaint that I had with this adjustment was, similar to the older version, you needed a screwdriver or a small Allen wrench to unlock it. It's not provided, and you need to kind of set that up ahead of time. The FLEXVOLT track saw has a variable speed dial that allows you to change speeds between 2,500 and 4,200 RPMs, and this is higher than the corded version, which you might remember is 1,750 to 4,000 RPMs. There is a parallel linkage on the saw, which gets you to push the carriage slightly forward on its base before plunging. And I gotta say that parallel plunge mechanism, it was really awkward at first. And I'm used to a different brand. I'm used to just pivoting my wrist. This is more of a push straight down. And it took me a bit to get used to the movement, but eventually, like anything else, you get used to it and then it's smooth. So, similar to the older track saw, the new FLEXVOLT track saw features that mechanical safety feature that locks the saw into the track and prevents it from moving backwards along the rail, or from climbing out of the saw if you're doing a plunge cut or making a plunge cut. To engage this feature, all you do is you just turn the anti-kickback knob on the base of the saw. It's really simple to use. The knob engages a small metal tab and it prevents the saw from leaving the track or sliding backwards. It really, really works. I was impressed with it. The adjustable riving knife sits behind the blade, obviously, and it moves with the saw. And obviously a riving knife is key, it's clutch, and it's going to help eliminate kickback and stock distortion and all that stuff. DEWALT tests their dust collection in Weihnachten, Germany, and that's where they follow all the standards, the European standards for dust. This particular track saw is excellent at dust collection. An enclosed guard has a 90% dust extraction capability when connected to a vacuum system. The 1 1/4 inch dust port located at the rear of the tool, it swivels 360 degrees, but it was stiff enough to stay in position when set, so you could kind of move the hose and it would stay. We'd like to see DEWALT offer this tool with a hose and connector kit as part of their kit. I think that would be excellent. The port accepts a 1 1/4 inch hole snugly without any adapters, but also you can put a 1 7/8 vac hose over the outside of the dust port. It does not come with a dust bag, but it should. That was one thing that I noticed. The DEWALT was able to achieve the following runtime metrics on this saw, which is kind of impressive. Cut 298 lineal feet of 3/4 inch birch, ripped 48 inches at a time, then resetting the fence and doing it again. And that was with a 6.0 amp hour battery, and 465 lineal feet of 3/4 birch, 48 inches at a time, before resetting with a 9 amp hour battery. We recently used the saw on the job site to cut some cabinets down. The cabinets came from the manufacturer with 2-inch filler strips glued and screwed to the sides. I'm not really sure why, but the bottom line is we needed to cut an inch off either side of this cabinet to make it fit. It was a replacement that was going in where there was a desk area, and we were putting in a cabinet to replace the desk area. So it worked amazing. We used it here in the shop to rip and size birch plywood for a laundry shelf system that we were rebuilding, and just tooling around in the shop, cutting different materials. Besides having to get used to that plunge mechanism, the FLEXVOLT track saw works extremely well. Being cordless is the game changer here. This saw will definitely find its way into one of our trucks, so one of the guys on the team. Cool feature, the track saw has these anti-drag strips on the side of the guard blade. And these strips allow the saw to actually be placed on a flat surface like the floor and used for, say, cutting doors down. We tested this feature and it really works great as long as the floor is clean and flat. When cutting, the top edge of the blade will cut at 7/16 off the floor. That's pretty nice. As far as accessories, the accessories you can get a 46, 59, and 103 inch track. They have track connectors so you can join them. There is a miter gauge thing for the track, and there are these clamps that I really like because they are one-handed and they've got these removable extender pressure pads. The FLEXVOLT track saw comes in a couple of different configurations. Kitted with a 59-inch track and T-stack is $475. That was the best online price I saw. And bare tool and a T-stack is around $379. This track saw is a perfect tool for cabinet makers, kitchen fitters, GC guys, carpenters, woodworkers, anybody ripping, cross-cutting, and installing. It's super invaluable if you're a solo carpenter and you're maybe not wanting to wrestle with high-end full sheets of material on a table saw like birch plywood or something. I felt that the 6.5-inch track saw was well worth the street price compared to other higher-end, more expensive models. Worth taking a look at. If you're now investing in this FLEXVOLT and you want this cordless runtime, check out the DEWALT FLEXVOLT track saw. I'm Rob Robillard. We'll see you next time. Take care.